Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to episode 5 of I Don't Know Vlogs. I'm Ty.
I'm Rayhan. And I'm Azam. And today we have Faisal Susiwala, one of the largest, greatest uncles, and also Remax agent in all of Canada. Thank you for coming on.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
So you're the #1 real estate agent in Canada for Remax. So can you tell the viewers a brief overview of how you got to where you are today?
So I was probably about your age, I think. You guys are around 18, 19 years old now. Yeah, so I was 18 years old and I took a course in the local college just to learn a little bit about real estate. I was sort of inspired by a television show that I saw, late night television, where someone was doing very well buying, flipping houses. And I thought, well, I should learn about this because it looks like you get make a lot of money and have a great lifestyle and drive nice cars and live in nice homes. So, as a young person, you're impressionable, and that was sort of the start of it. And so I took the course, not really knowing that it would lead to licensing, but that's kind of what happened at the end of the 6 weeks. I wrote the exams, I passed, and I was in class with a bunch of people that were trying to become realtors. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll get my license and do this sort of part time. Went back to my final year of high school with my real estate license, and then I was having a little bit of a challenge trying to get someone to take me on because I was so young. And then there was an older gentleman that I knew of who had helped my father when we first immigrated to Canada. So I went and spoke to him, and he took me on and mentored me. And here I am 32 years later, still in the business.
Awesome. And that mentor was Mr. Maneri, correct?
That's right, Reed Maneri, yes.
So
yeah, he was a great gentleman.
yeah, I remember the stories that you were telling, like both Rayhan and I, about him. And just to give like an idea to the viewers, like we understand that Mr. Maneri wasn't the first person you approached to going into real estate, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I went to a company called Century 21. You probably have heard that name, and they were very nice and very polite, but they looked at me and said, "Hey, you're just too young. This is not a business for young people. You look very young, and it's going to be very difficult for people to take you seriously." And I mean, at the time, I didn't even have a car, so I literally walked down to the office from my school. And while I was waiting for the bus after being rejected at Century 21, I recalled that Mr. Maneri had an office just across from the bus terminal. So I went up the stairs and knocked on the door. And he was 73 at the time. And at the time that he licensed me, he was the eldest member of the board, and I was the youngest member of the board. So it was he was about to retire, but he stayed open and gave me a shot, and just mentored me and taught me a lot about ethics and law and just how to deal with people and how to deal with them in a way that you would want to be dealt with. And that was very valuable because, again, as a young person, being impressionable, you pick up on good and bad habits. And I was very fortunate to have someone that taught me a lot of good at that time, and taught me about charity and taught me about ethics and just basic goodness and how to deal with people in a way that you would want to be dealt with.
So that's like when we reach out to plenty of people trying to like get people to take it seriously, like, and lots of people, because we're teenagers, they don't think that we're serious about a lot of things. How did you manage to get people to realize that you're serious about real estate at such a young age?
Well, it was, it's knowledge, right? Yeah. So if you're going to be trying to get someone to take you seriously, you have to know what you're talking about, or you have to learn, you have to study it, and you breathe, sleep that topic, and you understand it, so that when you speak to someone about it, it's going to resonate with them, and it's going to you got to give value to people. When you bring something of value to them, they will listen to you, and you have to do it in a way that is relevant to them. It's not just, there's got to be a need in one sense, and there's got to be an offering from you where you're fulfilling that need for them, be it information or a product or whatever it may be. And there's no real salesmanship involved. It's more about providing people information and confirming sometimes what they already know, but doing it in a way that cuts through all of that fluff and gives them the facts that they need. And that's how people will take you seriously, because you're not dancing around the issues. You're getting to the point, and you're giving them what they really are looking for.
So what were some of the lessons that you learned from investing, like at a young age? Like, what were some lessons that you learned?
Well, I learned that. Well, I learned how to deal with people from one perspective, how to deal with rental income and how to pay down a mortgage, and the beautiful thing about owning and investing in real estate is there's on the right hand side, you've got appreciation. Your property values are going up. You've got income coming in from the tenant that's paying down your mortgage. So that gap is getting greater and greater, and you're increasing your wealth by equity. And you may not see it coming into your bank account, but what you've got is over time this massive amount of wealth being built almost passively through rental sources, and your debts being paid down. Yes, there's some management involved and whatnot, but if you look at it again over time, you're going to have a property that possibly in 15 to 20 years is paid for free, like free and clear. And your initial investment was only 20% of that property.
That's crazy, yeah. So now with regards to this lesson that you're talking about, going back to your age of around 19, 18, and with, I know my parents, or my mom and you both have told me, with regards to our grandparents and the first home that you helped buy for them. I was wondering if you could just give our viewers an idea of what you did and how you did it.
So, well, my parents, your grandparents worked very hard, struggled a lot to, make ends meet. And in those days, first generation immigrants, language barriers, and all of those things were all struggles and adversities. But our parents didn't let that stop them. They forced themselves through. They wanted to give us a better life. They could have given up very easily and said, "This is too hard. Let's go back and have an easy life." But they struggled so that we could have a better life and a better future. And when you see your parents doing that, you're compelled, and it's just inside of you to help. And me, my brother, my sister, we all worked together very, very hard to make sure that everything was taken care of, whether it was, things around the house or whether it was going out there and earning money and contributing to the family expenses. And fortunately, I had a good start in real estate. I got into the business and I was able to, kickstart very quickly, and I started earning some money while I was in high school. And I believe, I'm grateful that I was able to contribute back to my family who had done so much for me.
So you were a hustler when you were younger, right? Like you used to hustle and sell a bunch of things like brass in the malls and stuff like that too. Is that
and also like strawberry picking as well, right? You did everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So so it was anything that could put some money in my pocket, I was doing it. And it was having 3 jobs, part-time jobs at a time, so I was working as a stock boy, and then I had a little brass stall in the middle, like brass ornaments stall in the middle of the mall that I was helping and running for a gentleman who used to import these little ornaments. And then after that, I would go to a drugstore and work there as a cashier. So I had those 3 jobs going, but at the same time, I started up a printing business for T-shirts and whatnot and logos just for local companies. Along with a friend of mine, we'd go basically from company to company trying to sell them logos and sort of apparel wear for their companies. I would basically anything that I could get my hands on that I could flip, let's call it. Not proud of this, but fake watches and fake T-shirts and you name it. If it was something that I could hustle, I would, and I did, and it was great because it was fun and I was making lots of money and kept my part-time jobs going. So it was a way of not only, and I was learning about sales, which led me to probably where I am today.
That's awesome. And I think Ty was also going to ask you with regards to the what's it called, the $1 billion that he's made over.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when did you really know, like, the turning point to when you're like, I want to do real estate. I want to be a real estate agent.
So, I've got to say, it was probably closing that first deal. That first deal at the age of 18, it was, a land deal, something I had no idea about. I didn't know what zoning was or what acreage was, but just learning and being dropped into the middle of it. And, being grateful that someone took the advice of an 18-year-old kid. Now, I had Mr. Mineri, completely overseeing what I was doing and making sure that I was doing things the proper way. And it's basically, he held my hand through the whole process. But when that happened, when that deal became reality, and I got the closing check on that, it was like, wow, this is incredible. Like, you just feel this um, need to continue to do more, and almost you become addicted to it, and you don't want to let go of it because it's such a good feeling. You're doing good. You're helping people. You're helping them buy their first home or invest in their first investment property, or build buildings on land that you sold them, or develop land yourself. So that was the first sort of experience to that feel that you get when you've been successful at doing something and you're making money at it. It's hard to let go of that.
So you have, from what we've seen, you've really taken over with regards to like your different IGTV, doing different podcasts, your different messages and different methods of getting into different market schemes. So I was wondering if you could just give an idea of why you did what you did with regards to social media and how you kind of harnessed it in a way.
So I realized about seven years ago that I was spending a lot of money in magazines and newspapers and that type of thing. So, but I wasn't getting the calls. I wasn't, and the calls that I was getting, it wasn't the demographic that I was trying to cater to. Um, true, I was getting calls from seniors and whatnot that were looking at newspapers and magazines, but I wasn't getting the calls from that younger demographic. And I'm thought, what's going on? I'm starting to see a slowdown in the activity. I'm not getting the showings that I want. I'm not getting the activity that I want. So what do I have to do? And it just happened that I stumbled across, we were looking at buying a hot tub, and I stumbled across an ad that popped up after I Googled a hot tub brand, and I got an ad that within like 7 or 8 minutes from where I was at my cottage, there was this hot tub company that had hot tubs on sale, and there's a little coupon. I'm like, oh, this is good. It's my lucky day. I got this coupon. I'm going to go buy this hot tub. So I did. Then later on, we were looking at buying barbecue and furniture, and all these ads kept popping up. I'm like, wow, this is really, I can't be that lucky. All of a sudden, I'm getting all these coupons for furniture and whatnot. So I called a social media guy that I knew, and I said, hey, what's this all about? Like, he goes, oh, it's retarget marketing. I'm like, that's what I want. I want retarget marketing for my real estate practice. I want to get my ads, my homes in front of people that normally wouldn't see those ads. And in where I live in Cambridge, Ontario, if you just drive 45 minutes east, the prices are 30 to 45% more than where we are. So what I started doing was marketing my homes in Cambridge to places like Milton, Mississauga, Toronto, and advertising. Drive 45 minutes, save $300,000. People would click on that. And then at the same time, I opened up my social media platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and trying to get, and Facebook, of course, and trying to get some traction there and get followers, and then sponsored ads. So it just shifted my marketing from print to online. And the beauty of it is that you can hone in on a certain demographic, a certain language, a certain culture, a certain socio background, and get your ads in front of those people that are going to have value by reading that ad.
So speaking of social media, is that kind of how you reach out, get your message across to like us younger generations?
I would say that's how I get my message across to all generations now. And, whether you're 5 years old or 80, people are on social media. Grandparents are on social media looking at pictures of their grandkids. Everyone is on social media now, and that's become a way of our. And the beauty of social media is that it's a fraction of the cost of print. So what we can do online, the types of marketing, the people I can reach online. So your income has gone up and your costs have gone down. So that's the beauty of social media, is that you can use that. And if you can leverage um, and evolve with technology and stay ahead of it, and it really is the first one out of the gate really is going to be the winner in this case.
Well, going back to what you were saying, how do you lose the mindset of wanting to make a quick buck? A lot, like, because the majority of our generation wants to always make a quick buck. How do you lose that mindset?
So it's a shift. Um, the word mindset is overused. I think what you have to do is shift from mindset more to heart set. Start thinking with your heart. Start thinking about doing good. If you do a good job and you do the right thing, the money will automatically come. And those were words that Mr. Maneri taught me day one of starting with him in 1988. Do a good job, do the right thing, the money will come. And that's true, because if you take yourself out of the equation for a moment, when you're dealing with somebody and you take yourself out of the equation, that what's in it for me, you're automatically going to do what's right for them. And then they become advocates for you. They start preaching about you. They become evangelists. And they're not just recommending you, they're saying to people, this is the only person you should ever deal with, and this is why. As opposed to saying, oh, no, he should be okay. So when you start shifting from mindset of a business person to a heart set of just being a good human in all your transactions and your dealings, you're going to create this amazing energy around you, and people are just going to gravitate towards you. You're not going to have to pick up the phone or door knock. They're going to door knock on you, and they're going to ask you to come and work with them. And it takes time. There's, it's not an overnight thing. It takes time. If you set that foundation early in your career, and again, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you set that early on, you're going to get the benefits like reciprocal throughout your life.
So you're the number one real estate in Canada, number 5 real estate in the world for Remax, and you've done over $3 billion in sales, right?
Yes.
So how does that make you feel, like, to see all these accomplishments over the years, like, and now to also write your own book? How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I feel that I've been very blessed that I've had amazing people around me, amazing community, amazing family. So it's actually humbling, and I certainly don't feel. I feel like I got more than I deserved, and I'm very blessed.
So, as a real estate agent, how have you overcome certain challenges?
So, I mean, there's all kinds of challenges every day. Let me put it this way. Each morning you wake up, you're unemployed because you don't know if you've got a listing. And if you got the listing, you've sold it. Now you got to go find another listing. That's like going and finding another job to do. So it comes right back to your state of mind has to be very positive. So that allows you to overcome those down times and like consistently looking and building new business. There's a lot of times that people say, well, you just cultivate your sort of database and you have a database and you just work that and you try to just build on that and just take referrals and leads from that. Well, the minute you do that, you're not growing. You're maintaining. So if you want to grow, you've got to continuously look for new opportunities. And that doesn't just mean new listings and new buyers. That means development, buying land, rebuilding, flipping, whatever those opportunities are. You've got to stay in that business. You should not just be stuck to one lane. You should have several sources of income coming at you, whether it's rental income or land or development or property management, or partnering and syndicating. So always be on the lookout for different opportunities within your field.
So regarding what you just said, does that kind of play a role into what you coined the Susiwala system?
Well, the Susiwala system's interesting. It's a compilation of all the different strategies that I have. Closing. ABC. You guys know what that means? ABC.
No,
Always,
not.
always be closing. So in sales, ABC is sort of the rule. Always be closing. So mine is NBC, different station. Never be closing. And the reason I say that is when you're looked at as a person who's closing, you're being a salesperson. You're being pushy. You're assuming that's what they want. We're in an age of information and data, and people don't need to be schooled or closed on. What they want is interpretation. They want assurance. They want confirmation. They want you to give them advice. They don't need you trying to close on them and say, okay, here's my pen, sign here, let's get this done. What's it going to take for me to get your deal done today? And we've all seen that stereotypical salesperson that has those tactics. Stay away from that. And that's important when you're trying to build relationships with people. You've got to mirror people. You've got to see what their likes and dislikes are, but you've got to be genuine about it. If you don't fit their personality, don't try. But if you can, be flexible, and that's where it's a conversation. It's not salesmanship.
On your free time, what do you do? Just because we know that you're really busy, and I know that you love to.
Cars
I know
and
you have
watches.
cars, watches. Are those some of your hobbies that you're passionate about? Traveling.
Yeah, I think, so traveling, I love spending time with family. I love seeing you guys, of course. Other than that, the cottage is a thing that I really look forward to. I try to get away at least 3 days a week. So, and when I say that, physically I may not be in town working, but mentally I don't ever turn off. And that's another thing that, a takeaway from, how do you stay at the top of your game? You don't shut yourself off. Now, in some instances, that's a bad thing. You got to take time for yourself, but you can't. It's not a switch that you can just flip and say, I'm not going to work or I'm not going to take calls for the next 3 days. In order to be successful, you eat, sleep, breathe, live the industry that you're in, and that's the only way that I know to be successful. But yeah, we enjoy skiing. We enjoy all those things. So that's sort of where my passion is.
And what legacy do you want to leave, or to be known for in a sense?
Well, I don't know. I think I just want to be known as someone that did more good than bad. For one, that a person who helped people, helped community, gave back whenever I could. And you know what? Just someone that was there as a good person. I think at the end of the day, if you're remembered for the good you've done, you've accomplished something in your life.
We really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Great seeing you guys. Hope to see you guys in person soon.
Absolutely.
Soon.
All right.
Bye.
All right. All the best. Bye.